Hello, in this video we are still working on assignment 0304 and this is part B Word file wherein you will have the instructions on loading the dimension table plant and machines. So let's go ahead and look at our database diagram. So far we have done the product type, product subtype and product. In this part of the assignment, we will be loading the dim machine type table, dim plan table, and dim machine table. Now we do know that dim machine type, we have two hierarchies here. The dim machine type is the primary key which is reused in the child dim machine table as a foreign key. Also, dim plant has a primary key, plant number, which is being reused in the child table dim machine as a foreign key. So we have two hierarchies here. We need to enter data in the primary key table or the parent table before we can enter data into the child table. So dim machine has two parents, machine type and dim plant. Both of these tables need to have data first before we can enter data into the dim machine table. We are doing this to maintain the referential integrity, which means that foreign key data should always match existing primary key data. So for a machine type to be existing in machine table, the data should already exist in the parent table. So let's go ahead and make this hierarchy. By the way, since this has two parents which are not related to each other, it does not matter whether we load data in the machine type first or the dim plant first. In the previous exercise, we had loaded up until to product. So we are going to load data into plant table, then machine type, and then machine table. So let's go ahead. If you need the instructions are going to be available in this Word file, assignment 0304 part B. So once again, I am here in my Visual Studio. I have my sequence diagram in front of me. I need to add another step. By the way, if you closed any of these things, you should be able to reopen by going to File Explorer, going to your network file. Let's say you don't know where your Visual Studio file is located. Do File Explorer, then you should go to this path to locate where your folder was, and like this. And I would go back to that path and go back to the SSIS project files by your name, double click, open it, then you will see a DT project. So you can open this file. That will lead you back to where I am right now. So in case you accidentally close it, that's where you can find it. That's where you saved it in your folder. So now I'm going back. And again, we need to add another step. I'll take a data flow task, bring it in my working area, connect it to the rest of the sequence. Then double click on this. Well, I need to rename this first. So this time I'm going to rename this. And the name I'm going to use is what is on my instruction sheet. It is load plant. So let's go ahead and say load plant. Double click this to go ahead and edit. So once again, I will get my OLEDB source. So none of these, that source is right here. Other sources, OLEDB source. We will configure this. Now, compared to the previous one, there's a slight difference in this one. So let me show you. As per your instructions, you are going to do that. Get a source, get a destination. But when you get to data flow task, that's when instead of using a table, we would be using an SQL command. So this one, you can name it as SQL location join countries, just so this is clearer to you. So let's go ahead and rename this as SQL join. So location join countries. And I'm renaming this just to make sure that when you look at this, you know what this step is doing. So SQL location join countries. You don't have to do that. I'm just doing it to make sure anytime later that you come back to it, you will be able to know what this task is doing. Let's go ahead and edit it. Now the connection manager. So where is this data coming from? That's the interesting part. Previously in the product hierarchy, we were connecting one table directly to another table. In this case, it's a little bit different. We are definitely getting the source data from PTI accounting database. That part's all right. But instead of getting data directly from one table or one view, we have to take that data from more than one tables. Okay, so for this, we will be using an SQL query. The query is given to you, so you don't have to work on the query. It's right here. We are going to get data from two tables, location table and countries table. So we will join them here. And the joining condition is country code is common between these two tables. And then we want the columns location code as plant number. So we are renaming it. We want location name as plant name, and then we get the country code and the country name. We are renaming this so that it matches our destination table. So some of you may be thinking like, how do we match it? That's how we match and make sure the column names are same. So we are going to be copying this query and let's take it to Udesk. Here in data access mode, instead of table or view, I'm going to say SQL command and then paste my SQL command here. So all this command is doing is taking data from two tables, location table and country table, using the join condition and saying where the location type is plant site, and I'm renaming some of the fields to match the destination table. After we have done this, let's go to the columns. Now the columns are saying plant number, plant name, country code, country name, and not what it was previously. So hit OK. We need to go ahead and get our destination. So it's the same OLEDB destination. We can connect these two using the blue arrow. And this one I'm going to rename as a plant table. So let's go ahead and rename it. So I just indicated that this destination is actually the plant table in the data warehouse. Double click on it. So my connection manager is going to have the connection. This time I'm not connecting to accounting. My destination data is PTI data warehouse. Let's connect to the data warehouse. We are getting data into a table, so table or view fast load is good. The name of the table is going to be dim plant table. That's the table we are loading in this step. Now I keep on insisting the most important step is mapping. So we want to make sure that correct data is being mapped from source to destination. So let's expand this a little bit to see the column names properly. And see, plant number is matched to plant number, plant name is matched to plant name, country code is matched to country code, country name is matched to country name from source to destination. Let's go ahead. So we have this. Before we execute it, let's go ahead and save it. So I'm using save all. Go back to control flow. So we have 4 tables now and we can execute this. So let's go ahead and hit start. It might take some time and we expect to load data into 4 of the tables. So looks like the execution is successful. Let's go back to the database and check if the rows are loaded. So I'm going back to SSMS and make sure that we comment out the delete statements first so we can check and select all the data existing in the tables. Only my select statements are visible, not commented out. Making sure my use database is correct. Execute. I'm expecting 4 of the tables to have data. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Great job. Let's go ahead and delete the data from this table. All of the 4 tables. So I'm taking comment out from the delete statements. So now I have all my delete statements, all my select statements out of the comment. I'm going to execute all of them at once and scroll down to see none of the tables now have the data. So we can go back and add the next step.